Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia.
There's just this huge influx of like ADHD for
Mm.
kids at school and all of this. And I'm thinking, what has caused this? Is it something that's happened in society? By the time our children are 3, they've been they've had 70 vaccines.
Yep.
So is it something like that? Because that's a lot different to when my children were young. Like
Yep.
there was nowhere near the number of vaccines. So is it
Yeah.
something like that? I'm not saying it is. I'm just
Mm.
asking the question.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm concerned about the adjuvants used in vaccines for that reason. We stopped using aluminium pots because they gave us Alzheimer's, supposedly.
exactly. So that's the
Now
other
they
thing.
use a form of aluminium to stabilise vaccines because they got called out for using the form of mercury.
Well, the other thing with
So,
aluminium, I was in the supermarket in the coffee aisle yesterday, and I
mm,
don't know why I was looking at the pod machines, pod things, because I don't even have a pod thing. Like I don't have a
mm,
pod machine, but
yeah.
I suppose because the coffee I was looking at was up there, and then all the pods were under here, and one of them caught my eye because this huge marketing that obviously was a selling thing was aluminium pods, and I'm thinking, well, that wouldn't be a positive thing because there's a direct correlation between the intake of aluminium and Alzheimer's.
Well, there was some years ago when we were being told not to use aluminium pots. Is that true? Was it a marketing ploy by the stainless steel company, or
Well,
do
from
you
what
know what
I
I mean? Has
understand,
it?
there's quite a lot of science that sits behind that aluminium is one of the
Okay.
biggest indicators for Alzheimer's. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, so I do, and I'm not a researcher either. So
Mm,
I do rely on other people's interpretation
yeah,
of the data. I
I
can't.
agree. Yeah, I've never questioned it till this moment because as you said it, I went, okay, well, where did we get our data from? Most of it came from advertising or like promotional stuff to stop you using aluminium, didn't it? And yet we use foil all the time.
Well, I don't
Okay.
because of that. But the interesting thing is with aluminium foil,
Mm,
every time, because I do have some in the cupboard for um, some uses, but if I'm actually going to put food on it, I don't have the aluminium touching the food. I always have
okay.
another layer between my food and the aluminium.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Mm,
know that's just me being thingy because, well,
mm.
if aluminium isn't good for us, why on earth is it promoted so much in supermarkets? And why is it, such a normal part of cooking? Like
Yeah.
you say, we don't use our aluminium saucepans anymore. So anyway, that takes us down the rabbit trail, didn't it? Because how we got there
Yeah.
was why there's so many children that are being diagnosed with
Yeah.
these conditions, and I don't think they're made up. Do you know what I mean?
Oh
I look at
no,
the
they're not.
children,
No.
and the children really are experiencing difficulties. So why?
Yeah.
Is it a
I
societal thing? Is there more nurture, or is it, other impacts from society, from, like we've said, is
mm,
it,
yeah.
who knows? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because,
Mm,
like you say, you watch the children, you interact with the children, you know that they're outside of what
struggling.
we've been told is the norm. Now, I saw some figures recently that said 40% of children
Mm.
are.
I've
Well,
seen something similar.
that's no longer on the fine ends of the bell curve
No,
at
no, this
all.
is a real issue. Is it the advent of our technology? Because that's another thing. Or is it just that it's a whole culmination of all of it? Because I think,
Mm.
because our children, especially the young ones now, like, well, the world they live in is just so different,
I
isn't
don't
it,
know
with
whether you,
technology and
yeah,
whatnot?
don't know whether you remember when my child was young, um, MSG was an issue,
Mm,
and would the consuming of any MSG would set this child off
mm.
just absolutely aggro. um, yeah,
Mm,
really bad tantrums and everything else, take the MSG out of the system and everything calmed down.
mm,
So, and that's the same with sugar. We have so much more sugar, so much more gluten in everything.
mm,
Even our soy sauce isn't made the way soy sauce is made. It's made with wheat. So there's a whole heap of irritants
mm.
that we're bringing into their diet.